Thank you. I call to order a regular meeting of the Watchung Borough School District Board of Education. It is September 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, I love it. Made me laugh. Good way.
Welcome to a meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Watchung. Please be advised that this and all meetings of the board are open to the public and media, consistent with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Laws of 1975, and that the advanced notice required therein has been provided. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Watchung at which formal action may be taken. This meeting is being live streamed on the district website, where a recording of the meeting will also be posted. The public will have an opportunity to be heard as shown on the agenda at points in the meeting provided for the public to address the board. Recording or photographing, other than for private, personal use, requires the consent of parents or guardians whose children may be included in the image. A roll call, please.
Yes. Mrs. Amadeo?
Here.
Mr. Frage? Here. Mrs. Duet?
Here.
Mrs. Maddox?
Here.
Mrs. Agliaro?
Here.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Harvey, Mr. Kraft, and Mrs. Santos are absent.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on to presentations, we'll start with a referendum update from Connor O'Brien of Legacy Construction Management.
Good evening. Tonight, keep it short and sweet to the couple projects we still have open and the ones that we just issued purchase orders for. So with the Outdoor Learning Commons here at Valley View, that project, the concrete was sealed this past weekend, off hours, to avoid any disturbance with the classroom with the vapors and the smells. So that was completed this past weekend. The concrete, the next step for that area is going to be the railing along the seating in the back. That's supposed to be done the first week of October. Once that's complete, we'll have the engineers, the architects, as well as the township do a partial inspection. And then once that is completed and signed off on, the space can be utilized at that point. The actual shade structure won't be received until early November, and then they'll have to do the installation. We're anticipating completion of that project before Thanksgiving. So that project would be fully completed before Thanksgiving. So once we have those inspections, we'll communicate with the administration if they choose to use the space. That'll be up to them, and we'll coordinate the shade structure installation in accordance with the school schedule. The HVAC project that has been ongoing, we've been in closeout. We're still working through some final paperwork and discussions regarding some credits and some change orders, so that's still ongoing. We hope to have that completed before the next board meeting, everything closed out, but that's a process. We're not necessarily in agreement on everything at this moment, but we're still working through those items. The fields here at Valley View, the purchase order was issued. The contractor, alongside with the architect and Legacy, have been working with the administration as well as the principal for sign-offs on the designs as well as the color selections. That project is slated to be completed right now, depending on approvals from the township as well as the Soils Commission, possibly as early as Thanksgiving. If we need soils permits from the county, that could delay at least 30 days. So that we'll find out early next week if we're going to be required to get that. We're right at that fringe point on the disturbance, so we're going to see if we're going to be required to do that. We'll know next week. So that's the plan. The work can happen. I mean, I guess November and December gets cold. Winter can get here soon. We'll see what happens, and we'll adjust and make the schedule adjustment as needed. That's the projects that we currently have going on. I don't know if there's any other general questions for those couple items.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Connor, for being here.
Okay, now we have Gwen Thornton from the New Jersey School Boards Association to give us a presentation on the Board of Education board member roles and responsibilities.
He's very tall. I can put this down. I'm not that tall. We're going to be. You're not blocking me. I brought with me this evening our new field service representative for Somerset and Hunterdon County. This is Kathy Poirier. She's a former member of the Delaware Township Board of Education, where she served for 9 years. She was board president and vice president. She was also the president of the Hunterdon County School Board Association for the past 2 years as well. I've had the pleasure of working in Hunterdon County, so I obviously know Kathy pretty well. And I brought her along with me tonight to introduce her to you because I know that she will be helping all of you moving forward. So I wanted to bring her with me, and she will be tossing in comments as necessary through this presentation. So I'm glad to see all of you. And the amphitheater looks wonderful. It's really come along. It looks great. It's so exciting. So this is really an overview of the role of the Board of Education. This should be pretty familiar material for all of you at this point in time. Obviously, you know that you are elected by your community, but you are elected by your community. Your power is derived from the state of New Jersey. You are elected officials, and as such, you are elected officials of the state of New Jersey. And that's a really important piece just to remember, because the state grants you the authority, but you then have the obligation to ensure that your district is following all state laws and regulations. It's not optional. It's a part that goes with it, as well as any kind of local mandates. As you talk about soil locally, looking at those, you have to comply with all of those things as well. So it's just important to know that you were elected by the community to represent every child in the community of Watchung Borough, and that's a really critical, important piece. When you consider your school district and understand, when you think about it, every group within your school district has an opportunity to participate fully, such that parents can come and comment at the board meetings, they can vote and have their voices heard that way. Your teachers have an association by which they can be heard as well. But the only people without a voice, truly, are your students. So you are their voice. You represent every child. You are the children's voices, and that's a really important piece to remember about your role. Okay. Again, one of the important pieces, of course, is that as publicly elected officials, you want to make sure that you're maintaining the confidence and respect of your community by acting in an ethical way. One of the things I was always most proud of as a Board of Education member is you are the largest group of unpaid public officials in the state of New Jersey that agree to live by a code of ethics. And I think that speaks volumes about Board of Education members, because it's something that we live by and something we agree to do on a regular basis, is to look at that and say, what do we need to do to stay within the constraints of our roles and responsibilities? So, in terms of the Board of Education, the sort of the division of labor between your administration and their function and the Board of Education and your function, you have that responsibility that is to look at the district from a 20,000-foot level, a telescope, if you would, not a microscope. You are responsible for saying what you want to see happen, but making it happen, and how that happens is the responsibility of the administration. You are the what people, your administration are the how people. So your responsibility is to provide oversight, but not to engage in the day-to-day operations of the school district. That is why you have educational leaders who provide that function for you. Okay. So you say what, but the how is the responsibility of your administration. What and how, and I think that's a really simple way to always remember. If you are thinking about operating beyond what you're supposed to do, if there's someone in the district that's paid to do it, it's probably not your responsibility to be doing it, because that's why you have administrators and teachers. This is one of my favorite things. Whoops. Sorry. It's overly sensitive. Again, that you're up in the balcony, you're not down dancing on the floor, right? You're up there looking down at all of the folks dancing, but the people who are dancing, and believe me, sometimes they really do believe they're dancing, are your school leaders and teachers and administrators, because they make the district run and to run very well. We often say to boards, your responsibility is to ensure through that oversight role that the district is well run, but you don't run the day-to-day operations of the school district. Okay? So in thinking about this is one of my favorite things, and I don't think I've ever shown you this slide before. How many Board of Education members does it take to change a light bulb? How many? I make them. They have to think about this. 5, a majority of the board. That's a rational guess. Thank you very much for that. Anybody else? Look at Mel going, just don't call on me. I know, I won't buy you. Okay, here we go. Okay. None. It is not your job to change the light bulb. It is your job to say you want to have light, but it is the administration's decision as to what kind of light. Is it solar? Is it incandescent? Is it fluorescent? It is not your job to change a light bulb. And I think it's a good, easy way to think of it, right? You're not changing the light bulb, but you can ask that the light bulb be changed. Okay? Amazing. Okay? You've heard me say this for all the times I've ever been here. Your job is not to see that you run the schools, but to see that they are well run. And that is the easiest, simplest way. You have 4 major functions. By definition, you are a policy-making body. You're responsible for ensuring that there is a well-designed curricular program that meets the needs and provides equitable access to all students, as well as a co-curricular program to meet students where they are, to take them to where they need to be. Your third responsibility is to provide oversight through the budget and through the evaluation of the superintendent. Your superintendent is the one employee in the school district. You hold the superintendent accountable for all staff's performance, and then through the self-eval, you hold yourselves accountable for your performance. And your fourth responsibility is around communication, ensuring that you are transparent and you are providing accurate, complete information as much as you are able to do to your community, as well as listening to the input of your community and what their vision of what education in Watchung should look like. And those are your primary responsibilities. Things that don't fall within those categories are not within your responsibilities to address. So your administration has that operational focus. You have that strategic focus. We just completed not too long ago and presented your completed strategic plan where you've invited your community and your staff to be involved to talk about what is our vision for the future, what does education need to look like in Watchung, and then over time, how do we get from where we are today to where we want to be. And so that is an important role for the board, to keep that long-term strategic plan, strategic vision in place about where we want the district to go. But getting there, that administrative perspective in administering that is the responsibility of your operational focus. So there they are: policy, planning, oversight and appraisal, and two-way communication. So at every one of your Board of Education meetings, you have public input. When you have various kinds of activities where parents are involved, again, there are lots of ways to gather that input. It is important to have those two-way communications, but it's also very important for you to recognize that sometimes you have to make hard decisions based on the information that you have. Okay? individual board members' authority, and this goes back to the 5, who said 5? That was a really good guess, because on a 9-member board, as you know, it takes a majority of the board to direct the superintendent. It takes a majority of the board to approve almost everything, although some items you need more than a majority, you need a 2/3 or 3/4 vote of the board, but by and large, a majority vote carries the day. And so only the majority of the board has the authority to require the superintendent to take action or to approve something that moves your district forward. You operate by committees. Committees can only recommend to the Board of Education actions. They cannot bind the board to any decision. It's the full Board of Education by virtue of a majority. So, one member of the board cannot make decisions on behalf of the board. All 9 of you, including your officers, only have 1 vote. So in that sense, you are all absolutely equals in making decisions for moving the district forward. Okay? So 1 truly is the loneliest number. If you wish to make change in your district, you have to get at least 4 other colleagues on your board to agree with you. And optimally, coming to consensus and working together to come to shared decisions is even better. I'm not suggesting that everything should be determined by a 5-only vote. What I am suggesting is that's at the minimum that you need to make change. And on a lot of items, it's really very helpful to have general consensus around the board. So, it goes so fast. So, there comes to a point where there's a fork in the road. You've gone past that fork, I am delighted to say, through the years, through the training, through working together, to understand that you need to be an effective team. There needs to be a collaborative relationship between your school leaders and the Board of Education so that you can work toward progress in the district in a positive way, right? And sometimes that's difficult, but it is really worth cultivating that relationship to ensure that all voices are heard, and that means all board members, but that you also seriously and thoughtfully consider all of the recommendations of your administration, of your superintendent, of your school principals as articulated by the superintendent. We've talked a little bit about this, but the one piece in what you set your board goals, you've done your self-evaluation, you really have become a model board. We talked a lot about communications. I think you can't over-communicate. I think that's an ongoing thing that you have to really focus on, and that's an appropriate role for the Board of Education. You should be able to celebrate all of the successes of your district, as well as look at those areas where perhaps it needs additional attention, and make sure that you're focusing on those things so that students are moving forward to reach their individual potentials. So what's the superintendent's role? They're the chief advisor to the board. They provide you all of the background information and knowledge that you need to have to make informed decisions. Additionally, they are your chief executive officer and responsible for the oversight of all staff within the school district in terms of personnel decisions, in terms of working toward the creation with the business administrator of a budget that will support all of the initiatives and focus items that you wish to pursue, and the educational leader staying up to date with the latest kinds of changes in the educational space, with the changes at the federal level, even the changes, for example, in the state of New Jersey. For example, they changed the New Jersey student learning assessments this year, staying up to date on all of those changes and making sure that your students and your staff are prepared for those changes as you move forward. All of those things are the responsibility of your administration. This is just another way of looking at it. And what is that division of labor? So again, the superintendent keeps the board informed at all times. One of the things I often say to boards is the most fundamental rule of effective governance: the board does not surprise the superintendent does not surprise the Board of Education. You want to make sure that you are communicating effectively, that you have committee minutes that are ready and can be reviewed by your full Board of Education so that when you get to the board table and need to make decisions, you can have informed discussions and you can have enough information to make the very best decisions for the school district. Okay? So again, you know, your superintendent is your partner in this process, and you always want to make sure, again, that you are taking under advisement all of the recommendations and best thinking of your administration. Again, obviously, you are the decision makers, but it is really helpful to have that partnership that is a positive one so that you can continue to move forward. Some tips for brand new board members. Oftentimes, people who come to boards of education, if they're coming from the private sector, and some of you may have come from that space, sometimes find that change in education doesn't go as quickly as one might hope, that there are all kinds of constraints that you have to operate under. The negotiated agreement has very specific guidelines around what you can do with teachers and what you can't. There are all kinds of different ways that you need to understand that education, while there is a business side to it, it is not a profit model, and so it is dramatically different than most things in the private sector. So again, you know, no surprises at the board table. You should not blindside each other. You should not blindside the administration. That doesn't mean you can't ask questions, right? You obviously, absolutely should always ask questions so that you have enough information to make good decisions, but you should give a heads up to your administration if you have questions or concerns about items on the agenda so you can get your questions answered ahead of time. It's likely if you have a question, other members of the board might have that same question, and that way that information can be disseminated to you so that you all have that information ahead of time. And that is a very helpful practice. Okay? Why is it not going? Following the chain of command. We've talked about this before. Board members oftentimes are asked by members of the community, perhaps. I always found that they waited until you got to the frozen food section of the ShopRite or the Acme or whatever store, King's, which is no longer here, makes me sad, in Warren, to ask you about something. Best thing that you can do, because you can't solve their problems for them, is to give them access. So helping them to understand who they need to speak to first and following that chain of command, that you are the court of last resort. And if you involve yourself in trying to address a parent's concern, way down here, and don't guide them appropriately, when it would get to the board table, you would have to recuse yourself. So helping parents to understand that they need to talk to the person closest to the problem or the concern, which would be with the child's teacher, and then to the principal, and then to the superintendent, so that they're not thinking that you can solve their problem. Most Board of Education members would like to be able to solve people's problems. I know I would love to solve everybody's problems. Nobody asked me, but I really would. Nonetheless, that's not your role, right? You don't have that authority. You can't move them from one classroom to another classroom. You can't make sure that, you know, they get an extra day off in a week. There's nothing you can do to solve those problems. What you can do is to guide them to the appropriate person to get help. Also really important is for you all to follow that same chain of command when talking about board business. So talking to the committee chair first if you have a question, and then talking to the administrative liaison, if there is one, to a particular committee, and then talking to the superintendent. So the board following that same chain of command that you expect parents to follow is very helpful in terms of how you operate, okay? Please.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things, especially youth board members struggle with, and you know, the community, because you may have been elected with a lot of community expectations. The board members are supposed people that are active volunteers, so they want to help and they're kind, and it can kind of feel awkward to have to tell parents, you know, I can help you with that, but I can direct you to the person that can help you with that. That actually is the
Thank you. So just a couple of reminders. As a publicly elected official, what you may have been able to say the day before you were elected to the Board of Education, you can no longer say. Sometimes people really struggle with that. I've had board members say to me, it was easier to be a member of the public and get up here and comment. Well, yeah, sort of, it is in some ways, but you can affect change from where you sit, and that is a very powerful thing. But you have to be mindful that your words carry a different weight once you become a Board of Education member, and that's important to remember. Sharing confidential information exposes the district to liability, and that's not in a position that any of you want to put the district in. So making sure you maintain the confidentiality of executive session. Personnel and students have certain rights to maintain their privacy and their confidential nature of what it is that's their right to have, and you want to make sure that you are always protecting it, which is why you can't take pictures of someone without the permission of their parents. It's that point, it's around privacy for students and staff that's important to maintain. Again, you want to make sure that you're modeling the behavior that we would like to see in our children. You are models as a Board of Education. Trust me when I tell you, you can go on to the internet and watch boards of education where that is not the case. And you need to be mindful that you are modeling the behavior you would like to see with children, and maintaining civility and decorum is a really important piece, especially today. So working together, just in summary, is a critically important, and I think you all know that and have recognized that. So I know that this is information you have heard before, but I think it's important for your public to hear it again. And I think it's important for your public to know that they're very fortunate to have a very committed Board of Education like yourselves, who give of your time freely. Thank you for that. It's not Board Recognition Month, but I won't be back here on Board Recognition Month to tell you that. We truly do appreciate the work that you do for all the children in your school community. I think, from my perspective, it's almost the purest form of democracy. You live and represent every child in your community, and you do that well. So thank you for that. I, of course, can't leave without an advertisement, and that is that I hope to see you in Atlantic City, or at least some of you, in October. It's a wonderful opportunity to do additional professional development. There are 255 different course offerings. I know because I had to approve every one of those 255 courses. It runs for 3 solid days. You can go from morning until nighttime, and there's some fun, I will grant you in that, but it's a wonderful opportunity to network with board members from all across the state. And so you can do your mandatory training in person while you're there, as well as go to all kinds of professional development on every possible topic you can imagine, from special education to gifted and talented, to AI, to assessments, testing, personalized instruction. Pick a topic in education. We have courses available for you on that, with leaders from all across the state who volunteer their time to come down and do that work with you. So please, if you can, come. We would love to see you, and I thank you for your time and attention. And I hope to see you also at the county meeting too, which is 20, whatever it is. 28th, 20th. Is it really? October. It's October. See, I lose track of time. Okay.
Celebrate your day.
Microphone.
Let's say we're here to help you support your school and your students and your administration. So you can call me. I'll leave some business cards with your business administrator, and I'm happy to help you. If you have your board goals done, you've done your self-evaluation, that's great, and you're engaging in training, so you're already doing really well as a board, and I thank you for what you do and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Moving on to a presentation on Summer Pursuit of Excellence from Valley View.
Near you. Near you, that's what I'm asking you. The PowerPoint we have. No, I can too, but you're here, and you have so much energy for it.
1 week.
Energy for the projects the
I
kids
can't even see
do.
it. Aaron, I'm moving your thing. Okay. Are you going to put the slideshow? There's no slideshow.
There is, I sent it to you Tuesday, Pursuit of Excellence, Summer. I asked you this morning at Bayberry too.
Do you want me to read the principal's report while we're waiting for the slideshow?
He'll get it. Go ahead. I'm going to send it to him again too.
All right, principal's report, September 2025. Come on, Denise. We're sharing a piece
Come
of
on
paper.
up.
We are off to a very strong start this year with both schools engaging students in a variety of academic and social emotional learning experiences.
At Bayberry Elementary, we held our first all-school meeting on September 8th. Our school-wide theme this year is focusing on building connections through kind words and actions. During the meeting, students practiced the school cheer and enjoyed a fun and spirited staff versus student competition that reinforced our sense of community.
That's
Okay.
both of us.
At Valley View, the Title I and Multilingual Learner Parent Meeting was also held on September 8th. Families received an overview of both programs through a slideshow presentation and had the opportunity to ask questions and learn more about the supports available to their children. Valley View also hosted Picture Day. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, go.
I'm going to go halfway.
You can go the whole thing.
Valley View also hosted Picture Day on September 12th, and on September 15th, we launched our first Mountaineer Monday of the year. Students met in their team color groups for introductory lessons, established group norms, and took part in community building activities to strengthen peer connections.
In addition,
Okay.
In addition, Valley View students who were recently introduced to the wide range of clubs and athletic opportunities available to them this year. Sign-ups closed yesterday, and we are excited to share that participation is an all-time high. We would also like to thank our PTO for the new blue benches in front of Valley View. Students will soon receive new Chromebook cases during our next Mountaineer Monday, along with a lesson on how to best utilize them to improve overall organization. Thank you again to the PTO for helping fund this. Additionally, we, Bayberry and Valley View, extend our gratitude to CPAG for providing academic planners, which will also support our students in staying organized and managing their learning effectively. This past week, why I'm so tired, we welcomed families back for Valley View's back to school nights. It was wonderful to see so many parents attend. The evening began with a brief welcome presentation, including an overview of HIB procedures and the code of conduct, followed by classroom visits where parents had the opportunity to meet teachers and learn more about grade level expectations. You do the rest.
Looking ahead, Bayberry's back to school nights will be held on September 25th for grades 2 through 4 and September 30th for preschool through first grade. Finally, across both schools, students in grades K to 8 are completing the iReady diagnostic assessments. Once finished, students will be provided with individualized learning paths, and teachers will use the data to guide instruction and target student needs. Overall, it has been a positive, energetic start to the year, and we look forward to continuing the momentum in the weeks ahead.
Hey, ladies.
You got your...
Erin, do you have the slideshow?
There it is.
So our Summer Pursuit of Excellence program was another big hit. Students, in addition to reinforcing skills for language arts and math, they also took those skills and applied them to creating ancient civilizations. I wish we could show you the projects in person, but the kids wanted to take them home. They were so proud of them, so instead you get a slideshow. One thing that we added to the program was having the students do a type of interactive museum where parents and administration came, and teachers also, and the students presented. So they had to write a presentation as well as create and do the research. And we were fortunate enough to go around and see them. So that's what the slideshow is. Erin, you can run it. I'm not going to read it. Keep going. So these slides just tell you about the skills that were used at each grade level. Our grade 4 students, incoming 5th grade skills. Keep going, Erin. 6th grade. We want to see the pictures. 7, thank you. Like I said, it was related arts as well for ancient civilizations. And here you go. We have a couple Mesopotamias, some ancient India, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt. They did a great job. Is that it? Yep, there's some more. Ancient China, African kingdoms. And then these are some of the parents, administrators, and peers were going around as they were presenting here in the APR, which to me is the most fun part for them to brag and share all their accomplishments. And that's it.
I know it was hard to read, but I think it's really important that people understand it was problem-based learning, right? So that the students
Project-based,
used
yeah.
all of that research, their scale drawings, everything you saw there. But it is, even though it's fun, an academic program. And it is geared towards the English, language, arts, and math topics by grade level. Again, they're there and we'll post the presentation. But for me, it is powerful that they love doing it. They have so much fun being able to build and present their projects. And at the same time, right, they're analyzing those key ideas and their point of view. And
Right, the way it was structured, it was a rotation. They would go to a math workshop in one room, then they would go to a language arts one in the other, so they'd be working on those skills separately. And then they would actually do the building here. So seeing them learn how to do things like use a ruler, how to measure things, how to do in scale. They were doing skills like that in addition to the reading and the research, in addition to the mathematics that they were working on. My favorite part of the feedback was I had parents who said, there's no way, I'm going to try to get my child there. But then once they came the first couple days, they didn't want to miss a day. So those are the types of reactions. It's very hard to get students who struggle in any academic area to do more of it, especially on their summer break. The kids really enjoyed it. They got a lot out of it. So,
and for me,
thank you
that
for
interdisciplinary piece was just, they just loved it.
Yeah. Oh no, they yes. Having the project be the end goal always helps them. So thank you to the board for helping fund that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, presentation for district student safety data system submission for period 2, January through June 2025.
Yep. That's me. And I will remind you that we do these presentations twice a year. We did one already for period 1 that ended December 31st, and this is, as Jen just said, January through June. So it's always a backwards look. And I also want to remind people that you're looking at these numbers, right? Violence, vandalism, HIB, other incidents. I am going to go through what each of those are and what they mean, again, just so everybody is aware. District-wide, and I think that it's important to understand this, we had 1 alleged HIB at Bayberry, 1 alleged HIB at Valley View. Different reporting, I'll keep moving on with that. But we had no restraints and seclusions. We had no incidents, hold on, I have to go to a different sheet to tell you this, but also no incidents at Bayberry, I'll do it that way, no incidents of violence, vandalism, substance abuse, weapons at Bayberry, and 1 alleged HIB in this period. There were 7 other incidents from things outside of this. I'll talk about that separately. At Valley View, for the period 2, we had out of order. We had No, we had one incidence of violence. Again, I will explain what that means. We had no incidents of vandalism as reported during the period, but it does come up as another incident leading to removal. No substances, one alleged and one confirmed HIB. When we're talking about harassment, intimidation, and bullying, when we're talking about, violence, is assault and fighting and robbery and sexual assault, threats. Vandalism is can be arson, computer trespass, damage to property, again, theft, substance use. We do have, again, an example of that under other incidents. But we, as far as the reporting goes, right, as a district, the fact that we are on a daily basis, and I will credit the principals, our counseling staff, our teaching staff, the work we do, again, bringing in assemblies. This is amazing. These numbers are really good. When I talk about the incidents leading to removal, though, and when we're talking about behaviors, those are the things you hear us talk about over and over again. And I do want to make sure it's clear that they are two separate topics. So at Bayberry, like I said, we show in period 2 7 incidents, other incidents leading to removal from school. And what those incidents are, they are things that don't meet the criteria for reporting in violence, in vandalism, in substance abuse, or weapons, or HIB, whether it's an alleged or confirmed. Sometimes it's a code of conduct or a different category. But these things do lead to students being removed from school. And if a student is removed from school for a half a day or more, it gets reported under this other incidents leading to removal. And I want to give you an example. So for Bayberry, you have 6, 7 incidents and 1 alleged HIB. So examples of those other incidents leading to removal, at Bayberry, they are almost all inappropriate physical contact towards staff or another student. Again, tied to regulation, behaviors, right? Not an assault, not an act of violence. The alleged HIB, the unfounded HIB, remember, to be founded, to be a confirmed HIB, it has to be due to a protected characteristic. So an alleged HIB, let me try and think of examples, because we do have to investigate them, even if they don't rise to that level. So a student may be left out of something, a game, for a perceived protected characteristic. So we have that as an example of the other, not the confirmed. And again, if we look at our chart on the agenda, you can see Bayberry and Valley View each have an alleged example, and then again, these incidents leading to removal. I gave you the examples for Bayberry. At Valley View, those examples also include that negative physical contact. However, we had an example of someone with a vape in school, right? That is a violation. We have an example of vandalizing a bathroom, right? That's an example. Our confirmed HIB, meaning based on a protected characteristic, was tied to intimidation based on that protected characteristic. Another HIB, right? Social media, and we've had those conversations before. I think that we are looking forward to inviting Sergeant Rich back. He was with us the year before last doing social media and HIB workshop for students and for parents. The alleged offenses, again, go back to code of conduct violation or one of these other reasons, offensive language or if it offended me. Do you want? Correct. That's where, no, but that's where I'm saying behavior or code of conduct versus a protected characteristic. Right, sometimes it's just a false, and we do have to investigate each of those, so thank you. The other things that come on this report, nothing else for us here, the trainings and the programs. Last year, and many years, right, we start the year with our staff trainings, our para trainings. You had a board, right, HIB training at the beginning. And as the year goes on, we do a repeat for new staff or new paras. Last year at Valley View, we had Mikey Fallon, you might remember, in January, the parent evening. And then at the end of the year in May, we had the parent HIB session tied to our 5th grade orientation. So those are the kinds of things that's reported under the trainings and programs. This year, like I said, we are already starting with our staff training. At the back to school nights, we had parent training at HIB here at Valley View already. We are looking to expand on what we did with Mikey Fallon during the year with a series, right? Bringing Officer Rich back, doing other HIB. I would like to see us do other student and parent workshops and maybe combined students with their parents on topics not just of HIB, but along those lines of regulation, expectations, right? We've talked about that, and I'm really excited, honestly, that I think we're going to be able to get those scheduled and move forward with that. And I know that we've talked to the PTO already. I'll get into our year schedule and events, but they have been willing to bring Detective Rich back this year, and then we can schedule around that as part of a series. So for us here in Watchung Borough, our reporting again is the one confirmed HIB, and then these other reasons, right, for removal from school. So as much as we talk about some of the behaviors, those things are addressed separately from this report. And you might remember that we'll also have a different HIB report specific to HIB, not specific to these topics.
Thank you.
No question.
Any questions? Okay. You want to go through the enrollment, or?
Sure, you can do enrollment.
I can do it.
My glasses, no, it's really the kindergartens that is the big topic, and we can talk about that. So this is our enrollment on the same day, 24 and 25, September 13th and 12th, the comparison. Preschool, pretty similar. You will notice right away kindergarten enrollment way down this year from last year. We did eliminate a section of kindergarten. However, first grade, way up, added section at first grade, and we've been able to maintain at the other grades. Remember that the first day, right, numbers, you can see that at Bayberry, it looks significantly down, and that is due to predominantly kindergarten. When you look at Valley View, pretty stable within 5 students. We do have 5 students out of district. Our total enrollment currently, as of September 12th, down. But again, I know even being in the buildings today, I have 3 new registrations at the schools. So these numbers, again, we talk about them being fluid.
Thank you.
Questions about? Because it
Any
is a big
questions?
difference.
On the enrollment?
No?
Great. And we had the principal's reports already. So, Mrs. Bishop Johnson, do you have a business administrator's report?
Very short, regular business, office operations, getting ready for our audit. That's our big, right now we're collecting all our reports, putting them, they have set up a Dropbox for us, so we've been doing that. They'll be here the week after next for about 3 to 4 days. Facilities, that side of the business office is running well. Everything's going, nice and smooth. Ricky's handling the referendum and, the regular work. And technology has been very busy installing our new smart boards and working on the Chromebooks and getting everybody up to speed and sending out tech notes to the staff so they can see what's new and keep up with all the cool stuff that we're installing. So that's really it.
Thank you. Anyone have questions? District update?
Yes, well, first and foremost, I am very excited. She's with us tonight to introduce Marie Marmello. She is on the agenda tonight to be named as our interim director of special services. She is going to be filling the role of our retired Nicole Tatota as we transition into a new year and look for a permanent director down the road. She has hit the ground learning. Gosh knows it has been roller skates on, and we appreciate your willingness to do that, to be here with us tonight, to be able to meet the parents that are with us. Oh, I do see you, and our CPAG president tonight. Marie was with us back to school nights. You'll have lots of opportunities. I think parents, families, staff has already had the pleasure to be able to meet her and be able to share our truly grateful to have found somebody so experienced with such a large number of years of experience, not just in special education, also general education, intervention. We're looking forward to having you with us on our team. Welcome. Yeah, we're streaming live. And that way they'll be able to see your little face too.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Glazier, and to the board, I thank you, and I look forward to working within your school community. I look forward to working with our special populations and meeting more of them, and our parents of our special populations. I certainly look forward to working with you and getting to know you as well a little better at our CPAG meeting. So, again, I want to thank you, and I am looking forward to working with all of you.
We're thrilled to have you.
Welcome.
So it's hard for me to believe how fast we are completing our second full week of school. Transportation's in place. I have no wood except my head. And our third start with the Durham Bus Company. As Ms. Kidd said, we have had our Title I and multi-language learner parent meeting. We have had our 2 Valley View back to school nights this week. We have our Bayberry back to school nights upcoming. It's a strong start, and thank you to everybody who has helped us make sure that we were able to all transition into a new school year. Now that we have that all in place and prioritized, we're going to return to our work on finalizing the strategic plan, district and board goal action plans based on the approved goals and revisiting our district vision statement. We'll be asking for your feedback again with that. And I think we expect to see some, if not all of those plans on the agenda for approval October 16th. You did hear Connor tonight talk about the outdoor learning commons at Valley View. That work well underway, and we are, some people I know like sneak in and look, and back to school night, people looked out the window. I promise, we will be showing off the space and all of the upcoming field work later this year as it's been completed. As our work in the schools has been completed, we've also completed most of our security upgrades, thanks to Erin back there in our booth. And if you've been in the buildings for any of the events we've talked about already, you've begun to see some of the changes. Additionally, we will be getting our Raptor system at the secure entrances in place, requiring visitors to present a photo ID, driver's license, passport. As an extension of that system, a hall pass type program for our students is being piloted here at Valley View. We'll be extending our staff swipes to be in both schools. It has been a huge lift for the district even before I joined as part of the referendum and in the past 2 years to keep all of our staff, our students, community members who are with us safe, secure, to know who's in the building, to know when our staff who's shared between the buildings, right, where everybody is. We did implement last year a Share 911 alert system. That, coupled with some of the things I talked about, are some of the final pieces of the security portion of the referendum. With that, we have another new security update. The county has not been able to identify alternative polling places for Bayberry School. By law, we have to comply with maintaining the school as a polling place because it has the parking, the accessibility, all of those things. Election legislation states that we cannot have police on site at a polling place. That includes our school resource officer. So we're adjusting the school calendar, as you have heard, accordingly to continue to prioritize that safety and security for our students and staff. We have now adjusted the district calendar. You'll be getting that with some of this other information. Columbus Day, Monday, October 13th, a full day of school for students and staff. Election Day, Tuesday, November 4th, will be closed for students, but all of our staff will be here at Valley View participating in collaborative professional learning. The Friday before Memorial Day, unfortunately right now, we have to make a half day of school, not a full day off. However, if we have a snow day available, we'll take it back again and return that. And finally, Tuesday, June 2nd, which is the day of the primary elections, schools will also be closed. With that calendar adjusting over the summer and over the last few weeks, our principals, the PTO, WEF, have collaborated to develop an event calendar for the whole year. The dates, the times of concerts and art shows and the science night and trick or trunk and the holiday boutique and everything, everything. We were at the PTO on Tuesday and we revisited some of those, have now been coordinated and scheduled for the year within the district calendar, within the holiday calendar. That was a request that grew out of our strategic planning process. So I thank you all, PTO is still here, CPAG principals, for all of the time and effort you put into that. So it was ready for the beginning of this year, so everybody knows what's coming, no surprises. And as we send this information also home, we'll be sending this year's homework-free and assessment-free dates home. Those homework-free zones happen during school recesses and the holidays listed. There are also maybe other days where we say it's not appropriate for homework. Assessment-free zones happen on the first day after a school recess and on each holiday and the first day back from a holiday. So that we're making sure that families have the opportunity to celebrate, that we have opportunities for everybody to really have the chance to understand that it's not just a day off, that we are actually honoring, celebrating, doing something those days that's more important than homework and assessments. So many things, right? Even in these first 2 weeks, I can't tell you, despite, construction hiccups, whatever, how proud of what has been accomplished. I know that that construction work has been an inconvenience, not just for our staff, but for the community members who are used to using those spaces. I am being kind when I say that inconvenience, but the end is in sight. I think the light at the end of the tunnel is finally not a train, so yay. We have started implementing our new curriculum, ELA and math, and our new curriculum resources. I know at both Valley View back to school nights, they spent a lot of time talking about the new math resources. We have that to look forward to at Bayberry. We've been able to schedule professional learning for math and language arts and around some of our upcoming goals that you'll see in those action plans. The work that's gone into all of this, our staff have piloted resources, they've done changes to scope and sequence, they've researched professional learning. It's significant, and I truly believe that we will also see tremendous progress from all of this work. I love the excitement when I'm in the buildings, not even just from the staff, the kids are excited, they see, right, some new and exciting changes, and I'm just thrilled that we're able to start to implement some of the things that have been identified as necessary to enhance our high quality instruction and to continue to move forward. With that, and with the new year, Tuesday, September 23rd, the district is closed for Rosh Hashanah. For those celebrating, we wish you a good and sweet new year. We are also closed on Thursday, October 2nd for Yom Kippur. For those who are celebrating, I hope it, for all of us, it is a day of renewal. Shana Tova. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. Mrs. Jewett, do you have a report for the curriculum committee?
Okay. All right, we met on Thursday, September the 11th, from 4 to 5. Attendees were Dr. Glazer, Jennifer Aguilera, Jessica Maddox, Fatima Santos, and myself. The after and before school program, Right at School, was presented to the committee by Julie Lyon. Julie's a former kindergarten teacher and its owner. The company is fully licensed in the state of New Jersey. This is an outsourced after and before care program that is presently provided to students in many school districts in New Jersey, one being as close as Scotch Plains. The committee finds this program provides time for students to go outside and play, and a place for children to complete their homework before going home with teachers the children are familiar with. The administrative work will be taken care of by the company, which will reduce the workload on our school secretaries. This program is self-supporting with 10% of profits coming to the district. There is much room for growth with this program. Summer camps and special programs can also be offered. The program will begin, I think, in early November.
They have to get licensed.
Yeah.
You have to approve them. Yes.
Oh, okay. I think we liked it.
Thank you. Mr. Frage, Administration Finance Committee report.
Sure. We met on September 9th at 5 p.m. In attendance were myself, Jen, Manny, Dory, Ricky, Dr. Glazer, and Karen Bishop Johnson. We discussed the referendum, which thankfully Connor already gave an update on. We also discussed the new maintenance hire who was on the agenda for tonight. We discussed the transportation guidelines that would improve clarity and communication for parents. We discussed the resolution on the agenda to renew the resource officer. We also discussed the before and after care services of both schools, which thankfully Ms. Jewett gave an update about. We discussed the acceptance of grants, and we also spoke about allocating some of the extra funds into our maintenance reserve. And then we discussed the demographic study through the regionalization and how it's a little bit inaccurate just because it didn't account for the new developments. And then the standard payment of bills.
Thank you, Mr. Frage. Mrs. Amadeo, do you have a report for our policy committee?
Yes, policy met on Wednesday, September 10th at 5:30 p.m. virtually. I was present, Phyllis Jewett, Adam Kraft, Jennifer Agugliaro, and Dr. Julie Glazer and Ms. Pinky Nielsen. Follow up the AI content that we've been talking about for months. That's policy 2365 and policy 5701. The teachers will present their learnings on this topic next month to us in the meeting. We're excited to hear that, and we're hoping they will also provide some guiding documents on what they think should go into this material so that we can write the policy appropriately. Dismissal policy, Regulation 8601. The dismissal form has been revised one final time with some legal assistance, but the policy has not been changed. CUSAC, we discussed that the state will be coming in January for that review, and we'll get notification soon on what's being reviewed. And then just a Strauss-Esme update that the rollout will be slow, unfortunately, because we have to put paper online, and it just takes time. Nothing up for a first reading. Second reading, bylaw 0143. Paragraphs 2 and 3 were changed. No feedback was provided from the board on that reading. New business, the committee discussed reviewing a list next month of all policies adopted more than 5 years ago to see what might be relevant for review and connected to our strategic plan so that we can update the most important policy related to that. And we'll also be looking at updates from Strauss-Esme more regularly. And finally, policy has been asked to handle the Board of Ed goal action plan. So we'll be doing that in our next policy meeting. That's it for us.
Thank you. Mrs. Maddox, can you give the report for the Personnel Committee, please?
Yes, so we met on Wednesday, September 10th. We met from 4:15 to 5:30. Myself, Danielle, Dory, Jennifer, and Dr. Glazer were all in attendance. With an introduction of Special Services Director Interim Marie, which we all met over here. And since I'm going to give the little highlight over on her, just to kind of give everybody an idea of the fantastic candidate that we have. She's highly experienced in special education, intervention, ESL, primarily in Roselle Park. She was screened by Dr. Glazer, interviewed by Karen, Denise, Mary Beth, and Lisa Mahan. Mahan? Did I say that right? Man. And sorry that I messed that up. Holy cow. Provided strong references and demonstrated deep understanding of the district's needs. She's got 38 years of experience in education. She began as a special education teacher, moved into general education intervention roles, and served as Director of Language Arts and ESL, and later Director of Special Services, and she retired in 2021 and returned as interim in 2023. Role expectations to serve as interim through at least Thanksgiving, possibly up until winter break, and supporting the transition until a permanent director is hired. Let's see. I move down to professional philosophy emphasizes building rapport, trust with staff, parents, and the community. Advocates for collaborative teamwork to address the growing needs of special education students. values inclusivity, appropriate placements, and maintaining students within community when possible. Community engagement is organized, she's organized parent-student events such as Fall Fest to foster welcoming environments and strong relationships with CPEG. Transition plan is ready to start immediately. She's familiar with the district challenges and committed to supporting our staff and families during the interim period.
The only thing, we are on the agenda tonight, contracting up until winter break. We made that decision since the committee.
Thank you.
Since the committee.
Yes. The action taken, intensive efforts by Denise and Dr. Glazier to stabilize the program, consult Mary Beth providing support with system and student needs, opening of sensory room at Bayberry to better support students, and increased in-class support from behavioralist to specialist. And this was under special education program challenges. Progress was recent meetings show significant improvement, indicating positive momentum. Board operations and protocols, merit compensation discussed, clarification on timelines and requirements for merit goals, acknowledgement that the September 30th deadline was too tight for thoughtful implementation this year, but planning to pursue goals for next year. And then we discussed job descriptions and stipends, ongoing review and development of job descriptions and stipend positions with input from association leadership. And supervisor instruction position to be finalized and postponed by October to support grant management and relieve the business office.
Posted. We don't want to postpone anymore.
Thank you. Definitely have to emphasize that.
Yes.
Committee protocols and document access, discussion about confusion over committee roles, information flow, and access to shared documents. So we're working on refining what our protocols look like within the committee members, possibly utilizing new tools like board docs to streamline board operations that support confidentiality, and also an agreement to look at, if once we come up with these board norms, looking at the future and working with different boards, and each year reviewing the process to see what works within that new board group. And Danielle just spoke about CUSAC reviewing first deep dive meeting held, and then as she had mentioned, January, the upcoming events, back to school nights, as we had previously talked about. And then, let's see. And then the rest of this is just pretty much redundant of what was previously discussed. That's it.
Thank you. From the negotiations committee, the only update I have is that the memorandum of agreement and salary guides are on the agenda this month for approval. Tonight, not this month. Board liaison reports. Do we have a legislative report, Mr. Frage? Okay. Somerset County Educational Services Commission. Is there a report, Mrs. Maddox?
There's no updates.
Thank you. Is there an update, Mrs. Amadeo, for the Somerset County School Boards Association?
I sent an email out this week asking if people might be available for the October 9th and or the November 17th trainings so that we could put that towards our board certification. Hoping everyone can join. Please email me and let me know.
Thank you. No update for the School Boards Association other than the upcoming workshop in October. Nothing for the Regionalization Committee. And do we have anything for Morris Union Jointure Commission?
We did have our board meeting last Thursday. There are new buses. We got to take a tour of buses. They have, with the new legislation, some of the energy efficient and diesel buses, wheelchair buses. So that was interesting. And they also allowed us to tour the DLC in Warren and Scotch Plains. So it was nice, right? You're on the board, but you don't always get to have that opportunity to interact. So it was a lovely, lovely meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to community engagement. Do we have anyone here from the PTO?
just to have fun. I'm here, Rich Seziano, my wife's the recording secretary, Michelle, and Victoria couldn't make it. She tried to make it today, but piano lessons changed, so I have an update from Victoria.
Thanks for being here.
The PTO is planning a casino night gala, whatever, which is going to be on February 7th at Watchung Valley Golf Club. Please save the date for that. More info to come. We also have a sweatshirt fundraiser going on now that celebrates Watchung's 100th year, so don't miss out on that. Food sales are underway, though there were some issues this first week. The group that's working on it is trying to smooth all that out. Class parent, or whatever it's called, nominations were opened up this past week. Announcements will be coming out next week. And Picture Day at Bayberry is September 25th and 26th. This past weekend, there was a camp out at Phillips Field, which was a huge success, both financially and fun-wise. All right.
You're doing great.
And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Do we have anyone from WEF?
Hi, everybody. I'm Meryl Maldonado with WEF. I have a couple of WEF events that I wanted to let you guys know about. WEF's signature exciting annual Trunk or Treat fundraising event is Saturday, October 25th at 3 p.m. at the Bayberry School parking lot. And the rain date is on Sunday, October 26th. We welcome any board members who want to host a trunk. WEF is also sponsoring its annual Friendsgiving event on Friday, November 21st at Valley View, at which WEF provides free pizza at lunch to students, teachers, and administrators. All Bayberry students are treated to Philly pretzels on the same day. That's about it. Thank you all, and we look forward to another school year.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Meryl. Is there an update for CPEG?
So it doesn't look like CPAG was able to stay, but you'll see on the agenda tonight a donation of our planners at Bayberry and Valley View. Thank you. We are very, very grateful, CPAG.
Thank you. Moving on to comments from the public on agenda items. We welcome input from the public. There are 2 times during the meeting when the public is invited to speak. The first opportunity to comment on agenda items only is now. The second opportunity for public comment is towards the end of the meeting. All comments are limited to 5 minutes. The total time allotted for public comment is 30 minutes. Before you make your comment, please state your name and municipality of residence. In the event it appears the public comment portion of the meeting may exceed 30 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 3 minutes duration. Our public forums are not structured as a question and answer session, but rather are offered as opportunities to share input with the board. In instances where the board feels a response is needed, the presiding officer or superintendent will address the comment. New Jersey statutes do not permit the board to discuss personnel or hiring in public session. Names of students should not be used. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of legal rights of those affected and identified in their comments, and be aware that they are personally, legally responsible with potential liability for comments that they make to the board. The board shall not be held liable for comments made by members of the public. Okay. We have no comments. We have no need for an executive session tonight, so we can move straight into our action items. Mr. Frage, could you read the administrative items?
Sure. I make a motion to move administrative items. 1, approve minutes of previous meetings. 2, approve memorandum of agreement and salary guides between Watchung Borough Education Association and the Watchung Borough Board of Education. 3, accept Bayberry and Valley View security drill reports. 4, approve extension of shared service agreement with Watchung Borough for a school resource officer for the 2025-26 school year. 5, approve the submission of statements of assurance for the 25-26 district mentoring plan and district professional development plan. 6, accept bus safety guidelines.
Do I have a second?
Yes, so moved. I say so moved?
He moved. I need a second.
Second.
Again, all of a sudden.
A second.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, you do a roll call, please.
Okay. Mrs. Amadeo.
Yes.
Mrs. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Maddox,
Yes.
Mr. Frage,
Yes.
Mrs. Agliaro,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Harvey, Mr. Kraft, and Mrs. Santos are absent. The motion passes.
Thank you. Mrs. Maddox, would you please move the items under personnel?
Yes. Sorry.
Do you want my chief?
Thank you.
Tired.
I move
Everybody
items
tired.
1, appoint interim special services director. Thanks, Danielle. Holy cow, I must be off tonight. Approve appointment of non-certificated, holy cow.
Got it.
Staff. Approve student teacher. That was 3, approve student teacher. 4, approve leave of absences. 5, approve Valley View School volunteers. 6, authorize final payment of accumulated benefits. 7, appoint district substitutes for the 25-26 school year. 8, approve Bayberry extracurricular positions for 2025-26. 9, approve extracurricular positions for 25-26. 10, approve before-school supervision duty.
Second.
Thanks. Any discussion? Okay. When you're ready, Mrs. Bishop Johnson, do a roll call.
Got it. Mrs. Jewett.
Operations and Finance, all right.
Oh,
No,
no, no, no.
Voting.
First
Yes,
vote.
Second,
Voting.
Personnel.
personnel?
Vote.
Voting on personnel.
Okay. Got the wrong page?
It's the items
We're
1
voting
to
on
10, you're voting.
Just yes or
It's voting, yeah.
no.
Yes.
I threw us off, I'm
I know you did.
Okay, you okay? Yes? Okay.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Mrs. Maddox,
Yes.
Mr. Frage,
Yes.
Mrs. Amadeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Agliaro.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Harvey, Mr. Kraft, and Mrs. Santos are absent. The motion passes.
Mrs. Jewett, would you like to read Operations Finance? Could you please move those items?
All right.
Oh, there's a lot.
I move number 1, approve payment of bills as follows, and approve transfer of funds 2025 to 2026, accept financial reports. Let's see. Oh, approve payment application number 1 for Valley View Outdoor Learning Commons. Let's see, we got it over there. 5, approve payment application number 2 for Valley View Outdoor Learning Commons. Number 6, accept revised 2025-2026 extraordinary aid. Number 7, approve use of maintenance reserve. I think that's it.
Yep, there's still a couple more.
How about the Title III fund? Is that in that
That's
too?
8, keep going.
Yeah. Number 8, approve the Title III Fund Consortium with Greenbrook, Branchburg, and South Bound Brook School Districts. How does that work?
Well,
Keep reading them and we'll
keep
discuss
reading
it.
and we'll tell you.
Okay, good. Number 9, authorize the application, submission, acceptance of allocations for Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA Title III, immigrant. Number 10, approve acceptance of grant from the school's health insurance fund. 10. Approve the, is that part of mine? Let me make sure I have this here. Where's 11? I have 10, 9, 10.
Want me to jump in?
You got it? Okay, because it's not there. Okay, agreement to a contract between Watchung Borough Board of Education and Right at School, LLC, for the before and after care services at Bayberry School. Number 12, approve the professional development school business and related expenses. And number 13, accept donation of student planners.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Regarding item 11, contract between Watchung Borough Board of Ed and Right at School. This is the before and after care services. I think they're a great program, and I know that should we vote yes for them, our children will be very happy there. So that's really, really great to know. I just wanted to ask a question about payment for aids and how that works. We had emailed briefly about it, and I just I didn't totally understand. So right now we are paying for aids. Is that correct?
It's part of, yes, part of our general program. We don't charge families or anybody. If a child has an IEP that requires an aid, it's part of their program.
And that may change, and
Well, so we've had lots and lots of conversations, right, about what the in-house program and out program would look like. And currently, I don't know if everybody understands this, but as somebody read, the program, Phyllis, I think you read that it's a self-sustaining program, meaning all of the fees, the tuition that is paid, self-sustains that program. It goes into a proprietary enterprise fund, and the money in that fund can be used for that program and related program services. If the board approves an outside vendor, we don't lose that money. It's still in that proprietary fund that is earmarked for childcare. So in the event, right, that somebody has an IEP, needs an aid, that might be a pool of money that could be used to pay for that. Those funds will be depleted, right, eventually, if we are approving or contracting with a vendor, because a vendor money comes right to the general budget.
is that the current plan? Should we vote?
I don't know that it is, the money is there to be used for those things. I don't know that it has been determined, even resolving, right, to recommend a contract. You don't, haven't developed that contract yet, so you have that opportunity.
Okay. I just think is it typical for families to be responsible for aid?
I think it depends on the program, right? Like, when my kids went to the Y program, like the after-school Y program, even though it was in the school, it was my responsibility. But when we went to, like the summer program, like a enrichment program, it wasn't. So I think it has to be determined by need and the number of students, the cost, right? There's a lot to determine. It was the only, if you, I know you asked and I answered, that was a response, somebody asked us, right? If parents were willing to have an aid, could they pay for it? Right now, we don't have a facility, right? We don't have a way to do that. If that's what we were going to do, we would have to develop that with more information.
Okay. I just want to make sure that should we vote yes on this, that is there's a plan for that.
We said that if a child needed an aid, that would still be our responsibility for now. And again, the question was, could we look at other models? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I know it's kind of a amorphous question. We want, if somebody has an IEP,
Surprise family.
we get an IEP. Right now, again, nobody pays for it, and in this first year, we've committed, right?
Right, but it
That
sounds like that
costs
will have
wouldn't
to
go up. I don't know the answer, because I don't, again, until you know what's left in that fund, until you know how many students have that need, is it a one-to-one, is it a shared, are they there 5 days a week before and after care, or are they just there one day, right? There's not a way to hypothesize until you have an actual case almost. That's the hardest part. But there is.
Go ahead, but we're responsible if the child IEP says they need an aid?
What I'm saying is if they need an aid, they have to have an aid.
Right.
And that's what I think Danielle is asking. Right now, it's provided, right, through the program. And the question is, if we contract, is it still provided or is it a fee for service? And I'm saying, I don't know the answer to that, right? We have those funds that are still only available for use in childcare until those funds are depleted. So when the board and Karen develops a contract, you would have to lay out that plan. We would also, just if you approve, just as an aside for everybody, the community, parents, everybody, we would have, right at school, do a town hall type thing, a public meeting, answer those questions with parents. I think by then we would have sat down, Karen would have sat down with them to do a contract, to look at what we're doing currently, try and get an idea.
But we don't have a sense at this point as to how many kids that might affect.
We don't, because it's, again,
Yeah.
we don't have a way to know how many days, how many kids, because an IEP is a legal document we don't have access to.
Right. Okay. But you're comfortable with that change?
The way we're starting, that has been known from the beginning, when every vendor that we spoke to, I think none of the three were providing the aids, correct?
No, they would not provide.
I don't think any of the three were
As long as that's
providing
typical,
that.
and, I just don't want a surprise.
I think I was able to speak to with Denise and Camille at Bayberry about the old, program that we had. They have spoken to the program provider. They did not also provide the aid. It was new when it was brought back in-house that we did that as part of our school program.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that 10% goes into the general fund?
Yes.
Okay, in that general fund, if they do need an aid, can it be taken from there?
I don't know the answer.
We don't know that, do we?
We can in the budget, right? So we would, if that were going to be something we would think would be happening, we would budget for it out of the general fund if we needed to.
But it's permitted, that's what
It's permitted.
Yes,
That's what I
general
wanna know.
fund is
Right.
unrestricted.
Okay.
Okay.
Unrestricted funds in the
Have some
general.
options, perhaps. Okay.
And then the consortium?
Right.
Tell me about that. How's that working?
Do you want to, or you want
Sounds like a good idea.
No, this is our second, third year, I think.
Could be the third. It's definitely my second.
Required, isn't it?
It's
Because we don't get enough.
right. We basically in that for that grant, we don't get enough money to operate on our own. So if it's anything less than $10,000, you have to join with a group, and they call that a consortium. So schools will get together, small schools, join together. One business administrator will administer the funds, and then we basically, it would be just the same, like that business administrator would do the purchase order for whatever the need, whatever the desire is. And it's as you can see, it's a grant that's specific toward certain things. Usually, last year it was Nicole who, said this is what she would like, and then I do the paperwork with the other business administrator.
And it was Nicole, not because of special services. She also had the responsibility for multi-language learning.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Whoever has that.
Right,
Whoever's going to be doing that this year, right? That is true. Yes.
And the immigrant funds are limited. Those get allocated to the district, not the consortium, the other accepted grant. Those funds come as an allocation through the state based on an increase in the number of immigrant students in the district, based on the number of years that they have been in the district. And it's a very small amount, but we don't want to give it back.
Okay.
We all good? No one else? Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay. Got it. 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. Didn't want to miss that. Okay. Mrs. Amadeo.
Yes.
Mrs. Jewett.
Yes.
Mrs. Maddox.
Yes.
Mr. Frage.
Yes.
And Mrs. Agliaro.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Harvey, Mr. Kraft, and Mrs. Santos are absent. The motion passes.
Thank you. We have no items under curriculum. So Mrs. Amadeo, could you please move the items under policy?
I move a single item, second reading, bylaw 0143, board member election and appointment.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, when you're ready, Mrs. Bishop Johnson.
Just one second.
Take your time, it's fine.
Okay, got it. No, I think I am good. Okay, Mrs. Amadeo,
Yes.
Mr. Frage,
Yes.
Mrs. Maddox,
Yes.
Mrs. Jewett,
Yes.
Mrs. Agliaro.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, Mrs. Harvey, Mr. Kraft, and Mrs. Santos are absent. The motion passes.
Thank you. Does anyone have any board business?
I can think
Okay, moving on to our second session for comments from the public. Do we have any comments? Okay. All right. I make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We don't even get a vote and I say aye.
You don't get